What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dark Video Cuts. I am starting this channel because a lot of people are having issues with Premiere. It's very daunting. It's very intimidating when you look at the user interface. So this first video, I'm going to do the basics of Premiere Pro. I'm going to show you the layout, and I'm going to show you just a few little tools to get you started. So I'm going to switch up. So here we have the first screen you're going to see in Premiere Pro where you're going to open up or start a new project. You can click here to start a new project or click here to open a project. We're going to go ahead and start a new project. I'm going to go ahead and title this New Project. Now all these other settings here are pretty much set up for your system. I use timecode. It shows where you're at in time instead of frames, and audio samples. All this, just leave it alone. It's good. I've never had an issue. So just keep this like it is. Click OK. And here we go. We have our project user interface. On the top right, if yours should be set up about the same, there's going to be a default, so some of these windows might be a little bit smaller, but you can open them up and close them, make them bigger, make them smaller, whatever you feel comfortable with. Once you get rolling, you'll figure that out. But we're going to go ahead and click on this bottom box here, which is import project, and we're going to pull a project. So this is a live stream that I did not too long ago for Twitch, but we'll just use this just for the sake of the video. To do that, you click and hold on this clip and drag it over into the timeline like I just did. You can hit Alt-Z and that will undo, or Command-Z on Mac, and that will undo the work that you do. That's very important. There's a lot of mistakes to be made in this, and if you do something and you think, oh my god, what did I do? Just hit Alt-Z and that'll fix the problem. So once you pull the video into the timeline, you're gonna see this guy. This guy, see that little mark down there? That means that's the video that's in your timeline. This is your timeline in itself, and then this is your actual video. So once you have this in your timeline, you can press spacebar and it will play the video. I apologize for the audio, it's a little whack. I'm working on things. This is my first video on this channel. But it will play the video. So you press spacebar to stop, or you can click here and that will stop and start the track. Something that's very important when editing is this frame here. This is your margins, your safe margins. If you don't have that, it's very easy. You click this plus sign here and it'll pull this up. And this is a button editor. All you have to do is just click and drag whatever you want into here and let go, and it will show up. It should show up. And it will show up inside the bar. Pretty easy. But once you have that, just hit OK, and you should have your little button there. And you can toggle that on and off. This is going to be really good when you're zooming in and doing certain frames. It's going to be really nice to have, to get things centered up. It's really helpful. So while you're going through your video and you see something you don't like, so I don't want this timer in my video, I can click and hold this playhead here and drag it to where I want. And be prepared as an editor, a video editor, to hear the same things over and over. But say I wanted to start right here where my intro starts. I can use the arrow keys to get it right where I want it. And say that's where I wanted to start, you're going to hit C. Or you can click on the razor tool. So you click C, and that will turn your cursor, or your mouse arrow, into a cut tool. Click, and there's your cut. So you'll see the cut there. All you have to do is right click on the part that you want to get rid of and then just hit clear. So that's your delete button. You hit clear and it deletes it. So while making cuts, when I very first started, I started doing some cuts and I thought I lost a bunch of stuff. So right here on the bottom is a scroll bar. This scroll bar will zoom in and take you from beginning to end of the timeline down here on the bottom. If you make a cut and you make, say you make a cut here and you zoom in, and you make another cut, and say you clear this out. Say you're in here and you're zoomed in, because this happened to me when I first started. It was pretty funny. So I was in here, I was in deep, and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, well, let's get rid of that. And I go, oh my God, the whole project is gone. The whole project is not gone. What you've done is you've just zoomed in and you can't see the rest of it. It seems like such a simple mistake, but it's there. Your project is there. It just deleted the part that you cut. At the top, you're going to see all these different user interfaces. So we have learning. This is going to show you some basic tools and principles of the Premiere Pro software. You're going to have assembly. I use assembly. I drop all these boxes. This is probably how it's going to look, but I like to drop the boxes so I get a nice big clear. This is like what I use for my preview window. So I've set this up if the wife and I want to edit a video and we're looking, we want to see the video as big as we can. This is where I'll go to actually preview the video. You have editing. You can set all these screens up however you want, but I don't usually use these. The two screens I use is effects and graphics. And then obviously we have color. This is for your color correction. And we have audio, which will change up your audio. You can add some of the music. I don't mess with this music. I have licenses that I pay for. So it's very important. Copyrighted music can be a big problem for you. If by some chance you get 1 million views on a video and you don't own the rights to that music, the artist will get the music. Most of my editing is done for YouTube. So keep that in mind, guys. Copyright is very important. Make sure you have licenses to the stuff that you're using. Do not pull AC/DC onto your video timeline and use it, because it will be bad for you. Trust me. Don't mess with it. And then you have libraries. But again, the only two that I really use are going to be graphics and effects. So inside of effects, you're going to see the side panel here, which you can actually pull up your graphics if you'd like as well. There's graphics that are built in that are really nice. They're templates to add in, say, a website address, or there's just tons of stuff, titles and things that will slide in. But you can take any of these and just drag them right in. It's really tiny, but it's actually about 10 seconds long. I'll zoom in there, click and hold that bar, and it will actually pull in. See where it says coming up next? You can pull that in, and then you can come over here to edit. Let's hit V to bring our pointer back up. So you can toggle between C and V for your pointer, or you can click again on the side here and you can just choose which one you want to use. And then for the graphics, you can then hit delete and go meediting.com. There you go. Whatever. Looks good. And then that will play through. So you're going to look and you're going to see it's red here. That means it's not rendered for playback. It will still play back, but it could be glitchy, and it's probably going to be on mine. So there you see it popped up. It does a nice glitch effect. It's really simple and it works. It does the trick. You can find a lot of templates and stuff online. Just again, make sure you have licenses for any of the stuff you use. If you were to create something You wouldn't want people just pirating it. So try and be mindful of that. And again, copyright laws. What else can we talk about here? So on the side here, you're going to see this effects panel on the side. There's a really cool way to make it look like you have multiple cameras. So what you do is if you cut a part of this out, so say right there where I said good, good, good. So I can zoom in on this. Let's get in a little closer and on the timeline because we don't need that much. And I'll make a cut here. And then I'll make a cut where I want it to zoom back out. So on the side here, we're going to use our arrow key. We're going to switch back to our cursor with V, this guy here, selection tool. And we're going to click that. And we're going to use the scale to zoom in about however far we want to zoom in. And then we're going to use the position, which is X and Z, I believe, X and Y. And all I'm doing here is I'm clicking and holding and then moving right or left. Or you can also type in what you want it to be. Click on it, 200, and then there you go. So I like to use the cursor. You can see as I pop my mouse over it, you'll see the little finger with the lines, and that will enable you to go left to right. So I will take it where I want it. And again, using those margins is very, very useful. You can see the center points. And I like to have my head just a little bit out of the frame, inside the frame here. And then when we play through, you're going to see it zoom in. And then we've created a zoom in, which gives it a multi-camera effect inside the video, which is, it's nice. You know, sometimes watching a static video can be a little boring. So keep that in mind. Okay, now we've covered cuts and we've covered doing some zoom ins. There are keyframes, which I will get into a little later on some of my other videos. But this is the basics. So cutting, take your playhead where you want it. You can use the waveform here, the sound, to kind of get a general idea of where you want to cut. If you cut in the middle of something, then you can expect to hear your words be cut off when it starts. So for instance, if I make a cut here and I get rid of this, it's going to start really weird. So you hear it go, it starts off it really abruptly and I'm cut off. So that's why I like to make sure that when I'm in here, I start right when I'm not talking and I use the arrow keys to go back and forth to right where I want it. Then I'll go ahead and highlight by clicking on it. You just go ahead and click on the part that you want to get rid of, right click and clear. Okay, pretty simple, pretty stinking simple. And then play. Oh, that's right, I gotta take pictures. And then we can make another cut by again hitting C, turning it into the cut tool, the razor tool. Make my cut. And I gotta get my audio ready. And then I can cut that part out by creating another cut, then coming over to the part that I want to get rid of, right click and clear. Pretty easy. Now you can use the magnetic tool here, make sure that's highlighted. If it's not, then it's going to be really hard to get these to line up. You'll have to zoom in really close to get your frame. Or with it clicked, with it checked and highlighted, the snap in timeline, we can then drag and you'll see it automatically pop right where we need it, which is really useful. There's another way we can do this. We can click on the empty portion that we cut, right click and go ripple delete. This is going to bring everything from the beginning of that timeline into where you cut. Sometimes if you just click this and you had say you had sound effects and things like that that were down here on the upper part, you had sound effects here, and you were to just drag it, those sound effects would not go with it unless you highlighted everything. So that ripple delete, click, ripple delete, will bring everything over instead of just the movie itself or the video itself. So another way you can do that, again, is you can click and highlight, and just make sure you highlight everything that's in your timeline and it all turns white highlighted. Then you can move the whole thing. So for instance, now this is just moving. If I take and I highlight everything and then bring it over, we got everything. It came with it. So just a few little tools to help you out. This is really basic stuff that I'm telling you guys. I'm going to get into a little bit more advanced. If there's something you want to see, something you want to know about, again, I'm going to get into this quite a bit. I'm going to teach you guys all I know. If I'm doing something wrong or it can be done better, please feel free, let me know. I want to learn from you the same as I want to show you guys what I know. So again, thank you very much for coming and watching the video. Please like and subscribe. Dark Video Cuts, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys.